Hi guys, welcome to class. Today we are doing some grammar that I think is difficult but very necessary. Present perfect. I think it's one of the more difficult conjugations in English, and it's definitely worth learning and reviewing often. So as soon as I have a few more people join class, we'll start. And I'm excited. I love grammar classes. I hope you do too. How is everybody this evening? Oh yeah, I think I can't see the other chat box now. I can only see the chat box for people who have joined class. But right now I'm all alone. I hope I don't have to do the class all by myself. That would be sad. I would get so lonely. For me, it's 3 a.m. 3 in the morning. So hopefully I won't be by myself today. Yay! Hi, Alberto.
Hi, teacher.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing very well. I was getting worried I'd be the only one in class today.
Yeah, sure. You're alone.
All right, and Michael T, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I guess we'll do introductions now, just to save time. Alberto, will you introduce yourself?
Well, I am Alberto. I live in Vitoria, a city in the north of Spain, and I was in Berlin for 2 months, more or less.
Awesome, thank you. And Michael T, will you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Michael. I am from Republic of Moldova, and so.
Awesome. How long have you been with Verbling, Michael?
About 6 months.
Wow, that's
5,
a long
6
time.
months.
All right.
Yeah.
We've gone through a lot of changes in that time. It's nice to see people who stay.
Yeah, it was free basically, but from March or April, start to be with payment.
Exactly, and we lost most of our students, or I lost most of my regular students when everything changed. So sometimes it's difficult because, you know, and it wasn't my decision, but it was an important decision for Verbling because it's more sustainable this way. And we hope you guys still enjoy it. So.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're doing present perfect. Have you guys seen present perfect before?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, I just realized that I forgot to introduce myself. But I think I've seen both of you before, right? So,
Yes.
my name is
Yes.
Michaela, in case you need anything.
What did you say?
I said my name is Michaela, in
Yeah.
case you need anything.
In case you need anything, yeah?
Yeah, in case you have any questions.
Clear. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so it's excellent that you guys have already seen it, but there's definitely it's a good time to review because I think present perfect is very difficult to remember. Alberto, what do you think about present perfect? Do you find it easy or difficult?
Well, I find it easy, yes. Yes. The big problem it could be the moment to use it, but the form to form the tense is easy for me.
Oh, okay. So what's the form?
The form is with the verb to have in present and the past participle of the verb that means the action.
Awesome, exactly. All right. Dennis? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Michaela.
Hi. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you know about present perfect?
And introduce myself. My name is Denis Boltov. I'm from Russia, near Moscow now. So, is it enough?
Yeah. What do you know about present perfect?
Um,
And it's okay to say nothing. If you don't know anything about present perfect, that's okay too.
no, not nothing.
Good.
I hope at least. Um, I don't know. So
That's
okay,
okay.
nothing. Okay.
We'll do a really good review today, and I'm sure you'll remember a lot. So it's difficult to start out.
No, it's in theory it's quite clear, but in practice it's a very big problem.
Yeah. All right, Michael T., what do you know about present perfect?
I know that it's one of 12 verb tenses in English. Yeah, it's 12 verb tenses we have. Yeah. In English. So it's one of them, and it's not easy, it's not difficult, it's okay. Only for me, it's the problem when I talk on the spot. Yeah, when I talk with, for example, with you or someone else, I kind confuse these verb tenses. So I may want to say in present perfect something about, but I say in another verb. So instead to say, have you ever been, did you, I can say, or vice versa. So for me, this is difficult. When I write something, an email in English or something else, I kind of check 3 times, so I do not confuse and I do not make mistakes. Because I check.
Exactly.
But when
Yeah.
I speak, I confuse because I need to speak fast, yeah, and I do not think each
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. The good thing is it's easy if you do make a mistake and you say, "Did you ever see?" instead of "Have you ever seen?" It it's understood, so it's not difficult. If I hear you say that, I still understand what you mean. But it is good to be able to pull out the proper tense at the right time. It makes you sound more professional and more natural, and it makes conversation easier, so it's good.
So you may think that I'm kind of not really fluent if you would speak as a native English speaking speaker
Yeah,
with me.
I might think that maybe, you weren't perfect in your English grammar, or I might,
Yeah.
think that I had to be careful. Sometimes if you make some mistakes, then English speakers will think they have to be careful with you, and they're like, "So, this is a cup." Even when you're a very advanced English speaker, and I think that can be frustrating sometimes.
That's why I try to learn all kind of grammar, so to be more confident when I speak.
Yes, good to learn grammar and good to review grammar. So I'm excited about class today. Samir, what do you know about present perfect?
I think present perfect speak we when we want to point out when we want to describe the action what happened in the specific time before.
Okay, so is it usually talking about something in the future, in the present, or in the past?
It is in the past that happened in the past
In the
in a
past.
specific time. But I have confusing in when between the. For example, if I want to say I was play football or I have played football and I had played play football. what is the difference? All this sentence in the past, but I don't know what's the difference between these three
Um,
sentences.
the difference is that we'll go over this more specifically in a minute, but the difference is generally that present perfect is a less specific time. So it happened in the past, but you're not saying when. If you say that you played football, well, you could say, I played football on Friday. And that means that Friday you played football once, or maybe 2 times on Friday. But if I say, I have played football, it's very general and it means like over the period of my life. Not just one time, not just one day, but over the period of my life, I have played football. So it's usually over a period of time rather than simple past and other forms of past is a more specific event.
But may I can say I have I have played football last night. Now
No.
I talking in a specific time.
You cannot use specific times with present perfect. So
Okay.
you can't say I have played football last night. It's or you can, but it's not correct. So
But and I mean when I speak with the native speakers, they will understand me or not.
they probably will understand you. So if you do make a mistake like that, it's a simple mistake and it's easy to understand, but it just doesn't make you sound as natural or as confident in your English. So I'm
But
gonna put.
I have a
Oh,
question
yeah.
about football. How to say when I want to emphasize that I played football, for example, an hour ago? Just I played football an hour ago, and that's all?
Yeah, you could say I played football just an hour ago. So if you want to emphasize it, add
Yeah.
something like just an hour ago, or you could say recently or something.
Okay. Okay.
Or you could say maybe hardly an hour ago. You can add an adverb in there to make it more emphatic, to make it to stress that it was just an hour ago, hardly an hour ago.
Okay.
Okay, does everyone see the link I just put in the Verbling chat box, or maybe you guys already have the notes open? This is what we're looking at today, and it's a very useful website that has great notes on present perfect and a lot of other grammar topics. If you guys are curious or if you have any questions, this is a great website to use for grammar topics. So everyone, open that. You're going to see a page that says present perfect, and then it has the form. The form is pretty simple. It's has or have plus the past participle. That is the easy part, I think. And then there are some examples. Let's have Alberto, will you read the examples for us?
Yes. I have seen that movie 20 times, right? 20 times. I think I have met him once before. There have been many earthquakes in California.
Hold on a second. Do you guys see where he's reading?
Yeah. But yeah.
Sorry. A little
You-
we're a little higher up. We're not quite there yet. So the first set of examples under the form, we have examples.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand. You have seen that movie many times. Have you seen that movie many times? You have not seen that movie many times.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a little chart that kind of shows you physically how it works, the time representation of it. So it's an unspecified time before now. So if you're using the present perfect, we know that you're not talking about now. You're talking about something earlier than now. But it doesn't say when. So the little chart we have here, the blue dot represents what you're talking about. So we know that what you're talking about occurred before the present, and then we have this like yellow oval here, and that's all the possible times when it occurred, because it's not specific. We don't know when. The paragraph below that, I'm going to ask Dennis to read for us. Dennis, will you read that?
Yes, but I have a question.
Yeah.
what it means on specific time. If I say, for example, uh, today morning.
So today or
I
this
have
morning,
seen today morning, yeah, this morning.
it's more specific. So if you say this morning, it's usually more specific, but this morning and today can actually go both ways. So sometimes you can say, I have seen that car 10 times this morning already. So in that case, you are using the present perfect, and it's a more specified time, but it's still not specific because you're not saying like one event or one exact time when it happened. You're just saying generally in the time of the morning, it has happened several times. So you can't use phrases like on Thursday or at 2 o'clock. You can't use very specific times. You have to use unspecified times. Unspecified times are like recently or many times, once, something like that. We're gonna read all about that now. Will you read it for us?
Okay. All these examples.
No, we're gonna read where it says we use the present perfect.
Okay. We use the present perfect to say that an action happened at an unspecified time before now. The exact time is not important. You cannot use the present perfect with specific time expressions such as yesterday, 1 year ago, last week, when I was a child, when I lived in Japan, in that moment, that day, one day, etc. You can use the present perfect with unspecific expressions such as ever, never, once, many times, several times, before, so far, already, yet, etc.
Okay, thank you. So I think that probably answers your question better than I did. And it gives you specific examples of what you can use present perfect with and what you cannot use present perfect with.
If I speak in a simple past, may I have to say I have to say in a specific time?
You
I
don't have to say a specific time. You can just say, I walked. But if you're in a conversation, like if I were talking to you and I said, oh, I walked, you might go, when did you walk? Where did you walk? So sometimes if you're talking in a more natural setting, you need more information. You can't just say, I walked. I would say, oh, yesterday I walked to the store. So
but
you don't.
I think I want to say if I want to say to talk about a specific time, what I will use? I use present perfect or a simple past.
Well, so these lists right here, they give you um, specific examples of what you can use with present perfect and what you can't. And things that you can't use with present perfect are things that you generally do use with other past tenses. Like you can use simple past with yesterday or a year ago or last week or any of those, but you cannot use present perfect because they're too specific for present perfect. Present perfect is general, so we have to use the other set.
But in the past simple, may I use a specific time or not?
In
Not
the simple past, yes.
yes.
A
I
specific
can.
time, a specific time is makes more sense rather than the other ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we have some examples here, and I'm going to ask Michael to read them.
Yeah. Oh, where just that?
Where it says examples, I have seen that movie 20 times.
Okay. I have seen that movie 20 times. I think I have met him once before. There have been many earthquakes in California. People have traveled to the moon. People have not traveled to Mars. Have you read the book yet? Nobody has ever climbed that mountain. A. Has there ever been a war in the United States? Yes, there has been a war in the United States.
Okay. So, how do you actually use the present perfect? This is the important part of our lesson today. Samir, will you read the next two paragraphs underneath how do you actually use it and topic 1 experience?
Okay. How do you actually use the present perfect? The concept of a specific time can be very confusing to English learners. It is best to associate the present perfect with the following topics. Topics 1, experience. You can use the present perfect to describe your experience. It is like saying I have the experience of. You can also use this tense to say that you have never had a certain experience. The present perfect is not used to describe a specific event.
Excellent.
Example. Okay.
Would you like to continue reading?
Okay. I have been to France. I have been to France 3 times. I have never been to France. I think I have been that movie before. He has never traveled by train. John has studied 2 foreign languages. Have you ever met him? No, I have not met him.
Excellent, thank you. So if I say I've been to China, do you guys know how many times I've been to China?
No, you do
No.
not specify.
Exactly. It's not specified. Maybe I've been to China 5 times. Maybe I've been to China once. It doesn't really say. It just means that I've been there. So I've had the experience of being in China. And underneath some of these sentences, they tell you, so I've been to France. This sentence means that you have the experience of being in France. Maybe you've been there once or several times. Or underneath the second, you can add the number of times at the end of the sentence. So if you want, you can, but you don't have to. And I've never been to France. This sentence means that you have not had the experience of going to France. So that's the first way that we can use present perfect. We're going to talk about several ways that we can use the present perfect, but the first way is to say that you've had a certain experience. Okay, topic 2. I'm going to ask Alberto to read the topic and the examples.
Yes. Topic 2. Change over time. We often use the present perfect to talk about change that has happened over a period of time. Examples. You have grown since the last time I saw you. The government has become more interested in arts education. Japanese has become one of the most popular courses at the university since the Asian Studies program was established. My English has really improved since I moved to Australia.
Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. We're going to go over all of these once, and then we're going to come back and make our own example sentences. So, topic 3, Dennis, will you read those for us?
Okay. Topic 3, accomplishments. We often use the present perfect to list the accomplishment of individuals and humanity. You cannot mention a specific time. Man has walked on the moon. Her son has learned how to read. Doctors have cured many deadly diseases. Scientists have split the atom.
Excellent, thank you. Topic 4, Michael.
An accomplishment action you are expecting. We often use the present perfect to say that an action which we expected has not happened. Using the present perfect suggests that we are still waiting for the action to happen. James had not finished his homework yet. Susan hasn't mastered Japanese, but she can communicate. Bill has still not arrived. The rain hasn't stopped.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Topic number 5. Samir.
Topic 5, multiple action at different times. We also use the present perfect to talk about several different actions which have occurred in the past at different times. Present perfect suggests the process is not complete and more action are possible. Example: the army has attacked that city 5 times. I have had 4 quizzes and 5 tests so far this semester. We have had many major problems while working on his project. She has talked to several specialists about her problem, but nobody knows why she is sick.
Excellent, thank you. So this use is really good for things like stories, when you're talking about a specific event that occurred during a period. So during the period of the semester, there were 4 quizzes or something. So we have specific events in the period of the semester. I have had 4 quizzes and 5 tests this semester. Okay, time expressions. I'm going to ask Michael to read.
Time expressions with present perfect. When we use the present perfect, it means that something has happened at some point in our lives before now. Remember, the exact time the action happened is not important. Sometimes we want to limit the time we are looking in for an experience. We can do this with expressions such as in the last week, in the last year, this week, this month, so far, up to now, etc. etc.
Okay, so for these we have little pictures, and the first one is the same as the last picture we had, which shows that there's a period of time in yellow, and blue represents the thing you're saying. So it could be in the middle, it could be in the past, it could be closer to the present, but not the present. And then the second picture, you have a little yellow bar, kind of signifying that you've limited the time. So now it's not any time. It's not any time before now. It's just last week up until now, or just last month up until now, or something like that. Examples. Michael, will you read the examples as well?
So, have you been to Mexico in the last year? I have seen that movie 6 times in the last month. They have had 3 tests in the last week. She graduated from university less than 3 years ago. She has worked for 3 different companies so far. My car has broken down 3 times this week.
Thank you. Okay, so there's a notice here, and it's pretty important. Last year and in the last year are very different in meaning. Last year means before now, and it's considered a specific time which requires simple past. And in the last year means 365 days ago until now. It's not considered a specific time, so it requires present perfect. So if I say last year, I'm talking about 2012. So that was the year before now is last year, 2012. But if I say in the last year, it means I'm talking about the last 365 days, which mean that some of them are going to be from 2013 and some of them are going to be from 2012. Okay. Examples underneath the notice. Samir, will you read?
Where?
The examples underneath the notice about last year and in the last year.
I went to Mexico last year. I have been to Mexico in the last year.
Okay. So the first one is I went to Mexico in the calendar year before this one, meaning in 2012 only. And I've been to Mexico at least once at some point between 365 days ago and now. So it could have been in 2012 or it could have been in 2013.
The first example, it is not. It is simple past, not present. Yes.
Exactly. So the first example, when we use simple past, it must be in 2012. It cannot be in 2013. But the second example where we use present perfect, it might be in 2013 or it might be in 2012. I didn't specify. Does everyone understand that, or should we do more work on that right now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. We'll come back and do more example sentences for all of these. So if you're not sure if you're clear on it, just wait and we'll get back to it.
I
I'm just
have a
going to go through.
question
Yeah.
about another example. So, for example, they have had 3 tests in the last week, yeah? They have had. Where we can use this construction?
In what have had, you can use it almost always. So you're basically using the formation of present perfect, which always uses have, plus the past participle of the verb have. So the past participle is had. They have had 3 tests in the last week. I have had 10 donuts this morning. I have had, let me think of other examples. I have had a difficult time this year. You can use it for anything. Yeah.
Can I say have had without specify this week or without specify this year, for example?
You could say, let me think. I have had 2 car accidents.
Okay.
So that I don't have to say when, I can just say I have had 2 car accidents. And you know that in my life, up until now, I have been in 2 car accidents.
Okay.
Okay. So, use to duration from the past until now, not continuous verbs. So, will you guys read? I'm going to ask Samir to continue reading under where it says use to duration form and past until now.
Okay, with non-continuous verb and non-continuous use of mixed verb, we use the present perfect to show that something started in the past and has continued up until now for 5 minutes, for 2 weeks, and since Tuesday are all duration with which can be used with the present perfect. Example: I have had a cold for 2 weeks. She has been in England for 6 months. Mary has loved chocolate since she was a little girl. Although the above use of present perfect is normally limited to non-continuous verbs and non-continuous uses of mixed verb, the words live, work, teach, and study are sometimes used in this way, even though they are not non-continuous verb.
Okay. So this one is mainly used for non-continuous verbs. Non-continuous verbs are verbs that are usually not used in the continuous form. For instance, have is usually not used in the continuous form. You can't say, I'm having a cold, I'm having a sickness. That's incorrect because it's not used in that way. I know it can be confusing, but some verbs cannot be used in the continuous, and one is like to have a cold cannot be used in the continuous, or to be cannot generally be used in the continuous. You can't say I'm being in England for 6 months. That's incorrect because it's, doesn't really work. It's a state of being. and love is usually not used in the continuous form. You can't say, I'm loving you. And those are sometimes difficult to remember because it's not the same in other languages, but they're usually things that you feel, things that have to do with feeling. So love is a feeling, being is kind of like a feeling, and to have a cold is the way you're feeling. So it usually has to do with feelings. Adverb placement. I'm going to ask Alberto to read adverb placement.
Yes. Adverb placement. The examples below show the placement of grammar adverbs such as always, only, never, ever, still, just, etc. Examples. You have only seen that movie one time. Have you only seen that movie one time?
Thank you. And active versus passive, I'm going to ask Dennis to read.
Active, passive. Many tourists have visited that castle. Active. And passive, that castle has been visited by many tourists.
Okay, so we're not really going to work with passive today, but if you want to see what it looks like, that is perfect in the passive. So if you're going to make it passive, you just have to add in the verb to be, which becomes been in the participle. We're not really going to work with it today, but it's good to know what it looks like and to see it. All right.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
We have finished many. I'm sorry. We have had many major problems while working on that project. It means that we are still working on that project.
Yes.
At the moment.
Yes. So anytime we use present perfect, it must be up until now. So it can't have finished earlier. We can't talk about last year or 3 weeks ago. It has to be a period up until now. If it's not up until now, we cannot use the present perfect.
So, and we had many major problems while we was working on this project. Is it correct? Correct sentence?
Okay, yeah, you could say we have had. So it has to be up until now. So if you're going to say while we were working on the project, you're saying that the project is over. So if you say while we were, it's a better construction to say we had many problems while working on the project, while we were working on the project. So if you're going to use it in the past, if the period is finished, it's better to use another tense because present perfect is specifically for things up until now. Okay. Are you clear, you think? You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
now,
have a question.
Yes.
Is it same when I say I have had accident or I had accident? No. Both of them in the past.
So you should say I have had an accident. Are you saying the difference between I had an accident and I have had an accident?
Yeah.
The difference is just the time. So if you say I had an accident, it could be one specific event in the past. But if you say I have had an accident, it means up until now, meaning that recently, like very recently, you were in an accident and you're probably at the hospital right now. Because you're saying up until now, there was an accident occurring up until now. So if you say I have had an accident, it means you're talking about like really recently. You can't say I have had an accident last year because it's not up until now.
Okay.
But so now, yeah.
Yeah. So if I would say I have had an accident last year, maybe it's implied that during the duration last year, or how we can say that during duration last year.
This is the note that we looked at on the difference between last year and in the last year. So
Yeah.
if I say last year, I'm talking about 2012, and that's a completed and finished year. But if I say in the last year, I'm talking about the
From
last
now.
300 and from now 365 days ago. So yeah, we're talking about up until right this moment. So if I say in the last year, I could be talking about 2013, or I could be talking about in December of 2012. I could be talking about the last 12 months, anytime within the last 12 months.
Yeah, but I can say I have had an accident last year, and it's implying 2012. It's correct to say?
No. You
Why?
have to say, I have had an accident in the last year.
It is incorrect to say, and I have had an accident last year.
No.
I have to say in the.
Must say in the.
But why last year if I want to emphasize that was in 2012?
Because last year is a closed and finished period, and we can't
Yeah.
use the present perfect with something that's finished. It has to be up until now.
Okay, but if I want to say I had an accident, and can I say I had an accident without to specify when, last year or 2 months ago, to say I had an accident, and it's all.
It is grammatically correct to say I had an accident, but in practical use, people are going to want to know when the accident occurred, probably.
Okay, but I can use I had without to specify time, or it's usually I need to say when.
No, you can say without a specified time, but like I said earlier, if you say I have had an accident and you don't specify the time, people are going to assume you're talking about right now.
Okay.
Because it's up until now. So if you call someone and say I have had an accident, they're going to assume you're talking about just now, just today. You had an accident. You have had an accident today.
And one more question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understood this moment. So if I would say I have read the book, yeah, what is the meaning? That you would think that till now I read the book. I have read the book.
Yeah, I would say up until now, but that one is less emphasized, because if you say I have had an accident, that's something that's more intense, more severe, it's more important. If you say I have read the book,
yeah,
I'm going to assume that you read it recently, but it's not really that important when you read the book, because the importance of a book is usually the content of a book. So that one isn't as drastic as the accident example, but both I'm going to assume it's up until now. If you use the present perfect, it's up until now.
And if I would say I read the book, what you would think? I read the book?
If you said I read the book, you would probably have to specify. I wouldn't know if you said I read the book. I would have no way of knowing when. But if you say I have read the book, I would assume you read it recently, like up until now.
Okay, thank you.
What about the fact? I've read the book. It's just like just the fact that I've read maybe specific book.
Yeah, so that's just the fact, and it happened once, but nobody knows when yet because I haven't specified. Welcome back, Andrew. Were you watching class before you joined?
No.
Uh-oh. Okay, so we went over a lot of like complex items in the present perfect. So we're gonna go back over them and come up with examples. And you have the notes open, right? Okay. Right. So follow along with us as best you can. We're gonna come up with examples. It might be a little difficult for you because you didn't see the first grammar parts, but we'll do our best. So have you seen present perfect before, Andrew?
Sure.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay. So we're going to first go to topic 1, which is topic 1 is experience, and I'm going to ask each of you to give me an experience you guys have had. So come up with your own sentence and try to make it an experience you have had. For instance, I have been to France, or I think I've seen that movie. Those are experiences. So I'd like each of you to give me an experience using the present perfect, starting with Alberto.
Michaela, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Is it possible to say I've had a lot of questions since your previous class, for example?
Yeah, that's a perfect sentence.
I have had a lot of questions, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Alberto, give me an experience.
Yes. I have studied at the university for 5 years.
Oh, thank you. You put it in the chat box too. That's excellent.
Yes.
Andrew, give me an experience.
An experience. I've learned English for 3 years.
Excellent.
That's experience. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Dennis, an experience.
I've never been at any English-speaking country.
Excellent. So you have the negative in there. That's a good one. You've never been to an English-speaking country. Thank you. Michael T., give us an experience.
I have been working in one company for 3 years. It's correct?
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. You implied that till now I work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael. If Michael is talking about up until now, and he still works for that company, yeah, Michael?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would use present progressive, present perfect progressive tense. He's been working for the company because he still works for this company.
said this kind of example. I said I have been working for this company for last 3 years.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that also.
Present perfect progressive, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I said this example.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's okay.
But it is present perfect continuous, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what?
This sentence, it is present perfect continuous.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a great example of it. Okay, Samir, would you like to give us an experience?
Okay. I have been to Egypt for 3 years.
Cool. I feel like I know a little more about each of you. Okay, so change over time. Topic 2 is change over time. For instance, you have grown since the last time I saw you, or the government has become more interested in arts and education, or arts education. So give me something that has changed over time. Alberto, you're first.
Well, my children have grown in 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that's changed. Perfect. Andrew?
Can I say that the weather just changed?
Well, you can say the weather changed, but we're going to try to use present perfect.
The weather's just changed.
Okay. That's a very simple but correct sentence. Thank you. Dennis?
Fairplane has changed in last 2 months.
Excellent. Very true. Very true. Thank you.
In 2 months, yeah? Is that correct?
Yeah, or in the last 2 months. You can say either. In 2 months or in the last 2 months. Both are correct.
Okay.
Michael, would you give us something that's changed?
Life in my country have been improved since 2010. Yeah, or
so life in my country has improved since 2010, right?
has improved. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that's what you
Okay.
said. Yes, perfect
Okay.
sentence.
Okay, but if
Samir,
I would say
something that has...
if I would say, for example, roads in my country, I need to say the roads or roads without the.
You could say either, depending on what you're talking about. If you're talking about specific roads, then you would say the, but if you're talking more generally, like all roads in the country, then you can just say roads.
Without. Okay, thank you.
Samir, would you like to give us something that has changed over time?
My salary has been increased since I improved my English skills.
Okay, so your salary has increased. Excellent. Okay, topic number 3, accomplishments. So something that has been accomplished. I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to ask Samir to go first this time. You think you're ready, Samir?
The third topic?
Yeah, the third topic for accomplishments. So something that has been accomplished. So we can talk generally about man, like humanity, people. People have accomplished many things. Give us one, Samir. What's something people have accomplished?
Okay.
Can I say about me an accomplishment or no?
Verbling has been changed.
Okay. So like improved?
Improved, yes.
Okay.
Site has been improved.
All right. Perfect. Michael, did you have one?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, can I say I has learned English in the last 6 months, something like that.
Sure, as long as you say I have with a V.
Yeah, I have, sorry. I have learned, yeah, English in the last 6 months. And what is the meaning of what I said?
The meaning is that you started learning 6 months ago, and you're continuing to learn until now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dennis? Any accomplishments you can think of?
Oh, I don't know. People on Earth have done a lot of things.
Good enough, good enough. Very general, but a good grammatically correct sentence. Thank you. Andrew?
Can I say the scientists have invented the nuclear power?
Excellent sentence. Totally true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alberto?
Yes. I have improved my English level in the last 2 months.
Awesome. I agree with that. I think that's true. Okay, topic 4, an uncompleted action you're expecting. So something that's not done, but you think will be done soon. We've got examples here like James has not finished his homework yet, or Susan hasn't mastered Japanese, but she can communicate. Bill has not arrived, and the rain hasn't stopped.
And Michaela, by the way, it's all cases when you use this tense or just a part of it.
What?
I mean, it's all cases when you use this tense with just a part of the cases.
It's not. You mean for expected actions?
No. For all these examples, for all these topics.
Well, for all of these topics, we must specifically use present perfect because of the time. Most of the reason that we use present perfect is because of the difference in time. So if I want to say something like in simple past, I'm going to use a specific event. It means just once, and it's more specific. But if I want to talk more generally, like for instance in accomplishments, you talk about something that has happened, man has accomplished it, but I don't know when. So I don't know when the train was invented, but I could say
No. I mean, are there another topics when you use?
On all of the topics, yes. All of the topics are very time sensitive. So all of these topics, you cannot replace the present perfect with simple past because the time has a different meaning. So in all of them, including every single one, you need the present perfect and you can't use simple past in place. Does that answer your question?
Okay.
Okay.
He wanted to ask, do exist other cases where we use present perfect? Or only what we read on the site?
Well, what we read is a good summation of all of the times we use it. So we've covered all of the ways that you can use present perfect. So there's no other scenario that you can use present perfect that we have not covered. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. So they're all here on this page. Yay, present perfect.
It's very simple.
Yeah, it is very simple, but it can take some getting used to include it into your conversation.
Yeah, it's true.
So practice is the best way to do it, though. So I would like everyone to give me one more sentence. This time we're going to do it in the chat box. And I'd like you to give me an uncompleted action you're expecting. So for instance, if you expect the rain to stop, you could say the rain hasn't stopped, but you expect it to. So give it to me in the chat box, an expected action. Uh-oh. Sorry guys, my internet's being funny. Okay, a friend of mine hasn't called me yet. Perfect. So hasn't called me yet. I know that you're expecting him to call. Humanity has not learned how to use resources efficiently.
Have?
Exactly.
Or has?
Has is correct.
Okay.
Okay, so those are really great examples. And I have still not married my girlfriend. So we don't need the preposition there. You can say married my girlfriend. You don't need to. But that's also an excellent example. My friend has not finished his Spanish class. Perfect. Those are all great. They're things you expect to happen but have not yet happened. All right, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this class off because I'm starting another class right now. But I'd like to show you guys the practice. I was gonna do some practice. We didn't get some time for it, but there are 2 links on this class that have practice so you can put in the tenses, and those are very useful too. So I encourage you guys to do those on your own time to test yourself. And thank you guys so much for participating. I hope it was a good class and you feel like it's something that you know a little more about now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.